Hello there, Internet. MegaMogwai here, and I got another Legends of Runeterra video for you guys today. And today I'm going to give you guys my first impressions on Lee Sin. I don't have an actual live reaction to the trailer or the cards, as I was a part of a pretty important call that I can't really go into detail about, but I wasn't able to stream today, and I wasn't able to see this video as it was released, as I just looked into everything a little bit before now. So I'm still gonna give you guys my first impressions, but it'll be a bit more analytical, so you won't get a 12-year-old in Christmas Mogwai today, I guess. Regardless, I have a lot to say about these mechanics, and I thought we'd start things off by just watching the video, as I think it's a pretty damn neat one. As I know Lee Sin, I know him because he is one of the characters in one of my favorite cinematics from League of Legends.
Beware the dragon spirit.
I didn't expect his voice to be like that, though. Like I said, I know of Lee Sin because of the Legends Never Die cinematic. It's one of my favorites by far. I listen to the song like pretty much every single time I'm about to partake in any sort of activity, regardless of whether it's epic or not. Like, you know, working out, walking the dog, just chilling, or even going to the bathroom and defecating. It doesn't matter. I listen to the song and everything just becomes so much better. So shout outs to that video. Maybe I'll start like uploading some content of me like reacting to the cinematic, from the League of Legends universe. I really enjoy watching them, and people in my Twitch that really like me doing so. So maybe people on YouTube would like to see that as well. Regardless, as you guys can see, it is a 6-mana 3/6. And there's a lot to say about this potential spell combo archetype. So every time you cast a spell, you are able to give Lee Sin, or Lee Sin gains a keyword. Starts off with Challenger and then goes into Barrier, as you guys can see there. Which is pretty fucking neat, not gonna lie. And this level up is, whew, it's pretty damn good. Hazagi!
The dragon spirit awakens.
Kung Fu Daredevil, bitches. Not really the quality from like ever since I see the Swain level up animation, everything else is just dull in comparison. So it's not that animation is pretty sick though. Then this effect we're gonna be talking about quite a bit as well. One combo can finish them.
Stand as a Noxian or die as an Ionian.
I made my choice long ago.
This is the part of the video where I feel conflicted because he just kicked Daddy Swain out of the fucking realm, and I don't know how I feel about that because I am a bit of a Swain fanboy, so yeah. Regardless, really cool video. Let's take a look at the actual cards and go over the mechanics and everything. Let's start off with Lee Sin. As you guys can see, a 6-mana 3/6, understated initially, comparing him to the likes of Thresh or even Swain, who he just kicked in the face, who are 3/6 for 5 mana. But he is statted this way for the proper reasons, as when you cast a spell, give Challenger this round. If you cast another, give me Barrier. And his level requirement is for you to have cast over 7 spells this game. Not that he's seen, so he does not need to be on the board. For this to happen, you just need to cast a total of 7 spells for him to level up, which is a very easy, perhaps one of the easiest level of requirements to meet, if not the easiest, out of all the revealed champions. I think comparing him to Quinn, Sejuani, Maokai, Swain, and then Vi, definitely by far the easiest champion to level up. This is a piece of cake, especially in the right deck. Obviously not in a deck filled with units. And so most of the time when you play Lee Sin on curve, he's already going to be leveled up, which means he's going to be a 4/7 for 6 with the same initial ability, but on top of that, he Dragon's Rage. He goes fucking King Kung Fu mode on the opponent every time he challenges. What is Dragon's Rage? Well, Dragon's Rage is on its own a pretty bad card, and this is a card of the new expansion, by the way. It is an epic 7-mana slow spell. No competitive viability whatsoever, in my opinion, because slow spells need to be very powerful, especially if they are at 7 mana. And this is perhaps one of the most disruptible spells that I've seen in the entire game. As you guys can see, an ally strikes an enemy and their nexus. If the enemy survives, recall it. So when you apply this effect on an attacking unit, it's fantastic. But when you're going to play 7 mana for this, the fact that we're not even talking about it being disrupted by a deny. That's very obvious, right? You also have to worry about your opponent dealing with the ally that you're going to be targeting with this to strike. So if you apply this onto a unit and that gets Will of Ioniad, or you see Vengeance, or just gets Mystic Shot to death, whatever, anything that your opponent does to disrupt that just completely shuts down this card entirely, and you spend 7 mana for nothing. You can't play this at fast speed, so you can't react to an open attack with it. This card is absolute garbage and will not be viable at all. I will not recommend you actually craft this card, nor incorporate it onto your deck. But like I said, as an effect that Lee Sin generates, it's really damn strong. It makes him a really powerful finisher. Naturally, you need to play at least one spell for this to happen, because you need to be able to challenge with Lee Sin. So you need to give him the challenger keyword for the round, and to do that you need to cast a spell. But once you do this, you're striking first. It's kind of like it's a similar situation as when you're attacking with Katarina, right? And they're blocking into her. So what I mean by this is that if you look here, as he attacks, yeah, there we go. So he deals the damage, but he takes no damage in retaliation, despite the fact that the opposing unit was a 7/6, because he's striking the damage first before the combat actually takes place. You're striking the defender, and then if that defender survives, you will be recalling it, and you're dealing damage equal to your attack to the opposing nexus. That's a very fucking powerful effect. It makes Lee Sin a really strong potential finisher in what I expect to be a really strong archetype with the spell combo that we're getting a lot of really neat toys from with this expansion. So the last card that we're going to review from this tweet specifically is Claws of the Dragon. Outstanding 2-drop, dude. This card is bananas, and I'll explain to you why it's bananas. 2 mana 3/2 that says summon me from hand once you play 2 spells this round. This means it's a 2 mana 3/2 that you can summon at burst speed. Obviously for free, it's spawning itself, which is, you know, one of the reasons why this card is really neat. But the fact that you can spawn this for free at burst speed is massive. It's the same reason why a card like Jury Rig is actually really solid. You're able to chain 2 burst speed spells, and on top of the value that you're getting from those spells themselves, you're spawning this at burst speed as well, and it can lead to an extra attacker with 3 attack for an open attack, which is just outstanding. It can also be a surprise blocker too. Like, from both defensively and offensively, this card is outstanding in the right build, and it makes me really, really excited. It's just a common 2-drop, but it's so damn neat. Let's take a look at the spells that we're actually getting here. Sonic Wave and Retreat. Oh, Retreat. Retreat. I have a lot of things to say about Retreat. Sonic Wave. Let's start with this one, though. It's a burst speed spell. Give an ally challenger this round, and then create a fleeting resonating strike in hand. This is the fleeting resonating strike. Basically a weaker version of an Elixir of Wrath. For 1 mana, give an ally +2 attack this round. So for a total of 3 mana, in the course divided across 2 spells, you're giving an ally challenger and +2 attack for 3 mana. Not amazing, you know, not terrible either. But the fact that it's divided between 2 different spells enables you to auto spawn the likes of the, what was her name again? The Claws of the Dragon, and also allows you to give challenger and barrier to Lee Sin as well, as you'll be targeting something else with these cards, right? So very, very neat. Burst speed spell enabler, which allows you to summon a 3/2 at burst speed, which is super, super relevant. On top of that, let's talk about this one, though. This is the one that I'm really excited for. Retreat initially is a fast speed spell that says recall an ally to create a fleeting return in hand. Now, this is initially a worse version of the 1 mana recall, right? Because you're playing 1 more mana for it. And, yeah, that's a huge nerf to the concept, right? And it's not like recall sees a lot of play. But the return that you're generating, now it's when shit gets really interesting. This is burst speed, ladies and gentlemen. Again, burst speed summon. You're summoning an ally that costs 3 or less from hand at burst speed. Summoning an ally or a unit at burst speed is a massive deal in Legends of Runeterra. This card has really heavy implications. If we take a look at the 3, I got this ready for you guys. Like the 3-drop or lower units that we have available to us right now. Imagine spawning the likes of Zed at burst speed out of nowhere. Just doing this, you know, it's your turn. You go like your opponent, like for example, you floated the mana, right? So you can't really do this at turn 3 because you need three spell mana and you need to have something on the board. But imagine it's turn 4. You floated 3 spell mana for that turn. You play return, and then return something to recall something to your hand, or you can do this even respond to something from the opponent. Then you go for the sorry, what was the name of the card? I'm very confused. Like right now, yeah, return. So the other one, what was the name of the other one? I get confused. Retreat. Okay, retreat and return. There we go. So playing return and spawning a Zed at burst speed out of nowhere is really impactful. And obviously, this really comes into play with summon effects, right? We got the likes of the Used Cast Salesman, Shadow Assassin. I'm searching like specifically for like summoning effects here, like Shadow Assassin, Green Glade Elder, Frenzy Skitterer. There's a lot of very neat upon entry effects, like the Keeper of the Masks as well. Like this card could be really neat with this card, that allow you to surprise your opponent with immediate upon entry value, and also spawning a unit and being able to attack with it without passing over initiative to the opponent. This is a really big deal. Like I emphasize a lot on this because I believe summoning at burst speed is one of the things that has to be really controlled. Otherwise, it can really break the game because it enables you to just reduce interaction by a big margin, and it can lead to some very, very nasty burst combos, and that's what really makes me very excited about these cards. Like these two cards, Sonic Wave and Retreat, have really neat and exciting and overall fascinating deck building implications. Like cards like Claws of the Dragon and all these, it's really exciting because I feel like, especially as we get to see the other cards from the new set, if we get some strong upon entry effects, combining these with other regions is going to be really intriguing. And when I saw a card like Retreat and I saw Return, obviously they have to put a cap onto this because imagine being able to do this with like any sort of unit in your hand for 1 mana. But still, like three mana is like, there's a lot of really good shit that's 3 mana, and this enables you to just surprise the hell out of your opponent and not really leave them much room to react, which is very scary for them. Concussive Palm is a new stun effect, so more Yasuo support, as it is, in my opinion, like a clearly a better version of Steel Tempest. It costs 1 more mana, but it's not limited to the opponent having to be attacking with the unit. You can use this both offensively and defensively. You can stun a defender as well, and you are generating a body on top of that. You're creating a Tail of the Dragon, a 3 mana 3/2 that says, when I'm recalled, transform me into Concussive Palm. So this card is really damn neat because it allows you to stun anything, regardless of fast speed, which, makes it immediately better than the likes of Guile, even though you're paying a significant more amount for that, and you're getting a body on top of that. So what I really like about this is, I like this card from a reactive standpoint. When your opponent is, for example, playing a spell, leading on into an attack, they try to go for like a removal spell, you can react with a Concussive Palm, stun one of the potential attackers, and at the same time, spawn a 3/2 blocker, right? Then the initiative goes to you, and you can play another unit on top of this if you wish to do so. And that's super, super relevant. I'm a big fan of this card. I think Yasuo is going to love Concussive Palm. I'm not sure about Lee Sin really making use of this, but Yasuo is definitely going to love this card. And I also like the potential synergy with Tail of the Dragon with stuff like return as well, or retreat rather. You can recall this card to get the stun card back into your hand, and that leads to some very interesting deck building possibilities. So I'm a big fan of Concussive Palm as well. I'm not a big fan of Scales of the Dragon, which is a bit sad because the art from this card is absolutely sick. Like if you scroll down a little bit here, you can see the full art of Scales of the Dragon. It's the absolute tits. But the card itself is pretty underwhelming in my opinion. It's a 3-mana 4/2 that says when I'm summoned, create a dragon's protection in hand. So this grants an ally +3. What's neat about the Scales of the Dragon though is when you combine it with the likes of Return, you have a summon effect here that allows you to generate very neat value out of it. Now, the problem with all this is that Dragon's Protection is very underwhelming as a spell. Like, this is the value that you're generating with these cards, right? Like, when you balance this guy and you play him again, you're creating more of this. The problem is, what do you do with Dragon's Protection? It's a slow speed spell. A health buff that's slow speed. I feel like they were afraid when designing this of like just how strong this spell cycling could be, because making this card slow speed significantly hinders it, competitively speaking, and we'll have to see if Scales of the Dragon has any sort of relevancy at all. I think it's the most underwhelming of units revealed, and it's close to it's not really as bad as Dragon's Rage, but it's not that great. It's definitely like this card. It's just such a much worse version of the likes of Elixir of Iron, even though Elixir of Iron is only a temporary buff. Most of the time, you want to be going for these health buffs, reacting to damage, may it be in the form of spells or combat. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe Scales of the Dragon fits this sort of combo spell archetype better than I expected to. But definitely one of the most underwhelming cards for me out of these. Concussive Palm, amazing for Yasuo. Sonic Wave and Retreat are just... I can't really say more about them. And the Lee Sin is very, very exciting as a champion. Overall, my general impressions from these Ionia, or this Ionia package, honestly, super compelling. I can't wait to mix this. I'm not really sure exactly with which region I would be combining or building this spell archetype. I think like the first one that comes to mind is Piltover and Zon, because one of the weaknesses that this heavy combo oriented strategy can have is running out of gas really quickly, right? Because we are playing a bunch of cheap spells. So incorporating powerful card draw in the shapes of Progress Day from the likes of Piltover and Zon, who also provides you with Mystic Shots and other really useful cheap spells, like, for example, even Jury Rig and Rummage, that can allow you to level up Lee Sin easily, on top of stuff like Flash of Brilliance, which is technically a free spell as well. Like, I feel like that's going to be a really strong combination for this, and that would be the go-to one initially in my eyes, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there are other regions that this mixes in with better. I'll definitely be trying all potential combinations, and I'm really, really excited about a deck with Lee Sin as a finisher, Claws of Dragon for early bursts, tempo, aggression, and just chaining all these things and capitalizing on summoning effects with the likes of Return. This is one of the coolest. I keep referring to Return, but the actual card is Retreat, because it's the one that is creating it. I just really like this card, man. It's I'm not sure how competitive it's going to be, but it's just really fun looking, and I'm very excited for that. So let me know what you guys think about the champion and the cards itself, and any sort of combos that you guys can come up with. You can leave it in the comment section down below. I'd love to see it. And man, just 5 more days. 5 more days! We still don't know about the new region. I assume we'll be getting that information shortly. Yeah, I just can't wait, man. I'm so excited, and this sucks. Good thing I have Final Fantasy VII to kind of like fill in the gap for me. But man, it's been rough. It's been rough. I'm so hyped. I'm so hyped for this expansion, and I just cannot wait, dude. So hopefully you guys are excited as well. Have a solid day. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for daily Legends of Runeterra content. Have a good day. I'll see you around.